Ron Morris would summon correctional officers to his cell, and what they would find would turn the stomachs of even seasoned officers. The cell would look like two dogs fighting for their lives in the pit. According to the Los Angeles County Sheriff Detective, Frank Salerno, the fight was extremely vicious and violent. Whatever dispute they had, it got real nasty. The victim, Rochelle Clark, was serving a 23-year sentence for abusing children. Morris, who was a convicted murderer, claimed that Clark made a sexual advance on him. When he declined, Morris said that Clark stabbed him with a shank. Morris fought back. Clark suffered horrendous injuries. Part of his ear and nose was missing. It had been bitten off. Morris would choose an unlikely weapon to kill Clark, a shoelace, which was found wrapped around the neck of Clark. What baffled the authorities was that Morris waited hours to inform the prison staff. Clark was taken to the infirmary just before 11:30 a.m. on February 7, 2016. He would be pronounced dead. Was this a case of Morris defending himself? Or was he the aggressor? We'll never know. But this is just one violent incident of many that regularly occur at California State Prison, Los Angeles County. We'll look at the only prison located in Los Angeles County, which sometimes goes by the name Lancaster State Prison. Let's get into it. Lancaster is a city that lies in the Antelope Valley in the northern part of Los Angeles County. It couldn't be more different than the city of Los Angeles, which is about 70 miles to the south via California State Route 14 and Interstate 5. Lancaster is the 30th most populous city in California, with a population of over 170,000 people. Highs in the summer regularly reach 100 degrees, so prepare to sweat. Once you exit the city to the north, the Mojave Desert takes over, leaving nothing but dry, arid land. To social media users, Lancaster is perhaps best known for its seasonal poppy display, which attracts thousands of people from March to May. The prison is located on the western edge of the city. Opening in February 1993, California State Prison, Los Angeles County, sits on 262 acres, with solar panels sucking up energy on the perimeter of the prison. When the prison was being planned, the community was not behind the project. The prison was initially to be called Lancaster State Prison, but was changed due to community outrage after it was thought it would negatively affect the city's image. The mayor violently opposed the construction of the prison, but after 10 years, most community members changed their mind. Mayor Frank Roberts even said, "I did not want to be nicked with the prison town complex. There was a stigma about it, like Soledad. It turns out that the prison is far enough away from the town that we don't really have that problem. I think this prison has had far more positive impacts than negative." Numerous guard towers and double razor wire fences surround the prison, keeping the men incarcerated here from leaving. This $207 million prison was considered state-of-the-art at its opening, with an inmate capacity of 2,300 offenders. The capacity has since been increased and is now designed to hold 3,517. Working inside the prison are 1,564 staff, with half of those in charge of the custody and control of the inmate population. It is separated into 4 facilities, A through D, with 3 of them holding the highest security inmates in the California prison system, level 4, with 1,549 of those being considered some of the most dangerous in the state. After a series of escapes from the prison, an electrified fence was added in 1994. The fence carries 650 milliamperes of electricity, which is more than enough, given that only 70 is needed to cause immediate death. 2 maximum security inmates had escaped prior to the electrified fence being added, but were later recaptured. One inmate, Eric Renee Johnson, climbed an 8-foot block wall and both razor wire topped fences. No one had noticed he escaped at the time. Investigators blamed staff negligence, construction deficiencies, and procedural inadequacies. Before we move on to some violent incidents at this prison, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe as we make our way to 10,000. Also, I want to give a shout out to my first channel member. I recently set up channel membership, and if you would like to help support the channel, make sure you check that out. On April 2nd, 2021, Miles Aswega would be found unresponsive in his cell. He was pronounced dead at 5:52 p.m. Asuega was serving an 18-year sentence for attempted murder. Just like the murder we highlighted at the beginning of the video, the cellmate is the suspect in the attack. Roberto Kamimoku was convicted in 2008 and is serving a 20-year sentence, also for attempted murder. Kamimoku had been a problem inmate, and in 2013, he received another conviction for assault by an inmate with a deadly weapon. He was sentenced to an additional 2 years. This crime, if convicted, will likely result in a much longer sentence. Noel Mayorga was suspected in the attack of Timothy Johnson, who would not survive the shank strike to the neck. Mayorga is incarcerated for killing 2 people in a car crash in Riverside County. At the time of the accident, Mayorga was intoxicated. He was sentenced to 32 years in prison. A man who killed his roommate in 2015 would attack prison staff in 2017. Calvin Glass would injure the officer, sending them to the hospital. According to a report from the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, the officer ordered Glass to submit to handcuffs, but the inmate did not comply and attacked the officer. He grabbed the officer around his torso and threw him to the floor, but the officer managed to get onto his feet and utilized his baton to quell the attack. CSP Los Angeles County must be one of the most visited prisons by celebrities, at least recently. A group from Reform Alliance visited in April 2023. The group included, among others, Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, rapper Lil Baby. 2 years prior, in March 2021, singer Justin Bieber performed at the prison as part of a Christian organization event. He said of his visit, "It was such an honor listening to their stories and seeing how strong their faith is. I always wonder how the incarcerated population feels about these visits by celebrities. Does it help bring positive changes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments." What about some infamous inmates that have served time here? Let's look at a few. Samuel Little, a serial killer, served most of his time at CSP LAC. He was convicted in the killing of 8 women, but was suspected in as many as 90. He would die of health complications on December 20th, 2020, at a Los Angeles hospital. Little had only been in prison since 2014 on the murder charges. While in prison, he confessed to many more murders. Corey Muhammad would go on a shooting spree in Fresno, California. He would drive around the city and kill random people. 3 people would die. He was sentenced to life in prison in 2020. The prosecutor initially sought the death penalty, which was not granted by the jury. This was a profile of California State Prison, Los Angeles County, a prison that sits in the shadow of one of the largest cities in the world, with its Hollywood glamour and Skid Row sadness. Thanks for watching. As always, see you next time.